and Bowie Jane.
Hello, Jess. It's Bowie Jane here for our very first podcast, Babes Behind the Beats. I am so excited.
I am so excited that we are doing this, Bowie. I cannot believe we're actually doing it. I'm so happy and excited and thrilled. So for the listeners, just to let you know, Bowie and I, we are best friends. We are musicians. We are CrossFitters. And most importantly, professional drinkers.
Yeah.
So we thought, why not do a podcast while having a drink and chatting about all of our similar interests, right? So, and because we are two females in the music industry, we thought it'd be really cool to interview other females that are in the music industry as well. So we're not just talking about the lead singers and the performers that are on stage, although we will be talking to plenty of those. But we wanted to talk to a lot of the females behind the scenes as well. So we're talking like tour managers and audio engineers, stylists, guitar techs, drum techs, tour photographers, everyone that you can think of that is involved in this industry. So yeah, we thought it'd be fun.
And quite frankly, we thought it would be fun to just have a good old-fashioned chinwag. Do you say that in America?
I have no. What is that? What, a gin wag?
Chinwag. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Tell me what this is.
This happens all the time. I've lived in LA for 4 years, and I still say words every single day that someone goes, "What?" So a chinwag is when you have a little chat with someone, and I guess your chin's wagging. You know?
Oh, a chin wag.
Yeah. Do you say that?
No, but like your chin's wagging like you're laughing?
Yeah, like you're having a chat, so your chin's moving up and down.
Oh, like that. Oh, wow. I've never heard that before. I wonder if anyone who's listening will have known that, but I will give them credit if they do, because I've never heard that before.
Oh, actually, tweet us if you've heard of chinwag.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That means we're going to get 0 tweets.
Yeah. Actually, everyone's like,
hang on.
Nope.
Actually, I should change that. Tweet us if you don't know what chinwag is.
Raise your hand if you do not know what chinwag is. I've got both my hands up right now.
Yeah, so we thought we'd have a little chinwag, a little, chat, and have a beverage. And
so, Bowie, you and I, we met through, it was CrossFit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Right. Crazy.
Oh my God, that's how our friendship blossomed. We were just those CrossFit buddies. Oh, I love
Don't you love it though when you go to when I moved to LA, the first thing I looked for was a CrossFit gym, because that's where you meet, you're seeing the same people every day, whereas at a gym, you're not seeing the same people every day. So I was going to the noon class, and so was Jess, because we don't like to get up early, obviously being musicians. Yeah. And so we became friends.
Yeah. I mean, noon is early for me, technically. That's CrossFit is what I get out of bed for by noon. I mean, and yes, people are like judging me for this, but seriously, as musicians, it's like we don't go to bed a lot of times till like 3, 4 in the morning.
100%. I do not go to bed till 3 every single night. So
yeah,
noon's okay. It would be better if it was 1, but
yeah, I know. I wish there was a 1 o'clock class, but you know what? We've got the 12. So, but yeah, that's how we met, and oh my God, we have so much fun.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. How long have you been doing CrossFit for?
Oh yeah, 3 years. 2017 is when I got into it, and to be honest with you, like I hated it at first. Like I did not want to go. I was like I've been athletic. Like growing up, I played soccer, and like I'm not to like sound cocky, but like I'm usually pretty good at picking up sports and stuff like that. But I like playing sports because it's like, it's kind of a distraction from the actual working out part. That's how I feel about it. And then I got into CrossFit, and it actually like I didn't like it at first, and then I started thinking of it as like more of just like a sport. I mean, it is. And then I just started loving it more and more. I just fell in love with it. And it's honestly like my therapy now. It helps me with like, my anxiety, and like every day I have to work out. Or I'll feel like really antsy. And yeah, it's been such a life changer for me. And I like am so obsessed with it. I'm definitely one of those diehard.
It's so good. Yeah, I remember when I first started, the first workout was wall balls. And I was like, oh my God, this is disgusting. This CrossFit thing.
Wall balls suck too.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I still hate them. You don't really understand at the start that you're going to see the same people every class and then that you're going to become friends with them. Once you realize that, then every CrossFit gym you go to, if you're traveling, you're best friends with everyone straight away.
Yes. Oh my God. That's what I love about the community. Like I've noticed when I go on tour, because I started I just, in the last year and a half have been dropping into CrossFit gyms, like into these boxes when I've been in those cities. And even when I'm like in a different country, I remember going to a CrossFit gym when I was in Belgium, and they specifically changed the class and started speaking in English for me. They were like, we've got someone dropping in. I'm not going to even try to attempt to do the accent, but we've got someone dropping in. So we're going to do the class in English today. And I was like, wow, like that's so sweet.
Is so nice.
I was like, I could have just followed. Like if people do box jumps, I'll just watch and do it. You don't have to change.
Yeah, you'd work it out.
Yeah, I'd figure it out eventually.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we love working out. We don't really, but we like it when it's done. So
it's a really good feeling once you're done with it. When you start it, you like kind of get like, ooh, I'm scared. And then you're like in the middle of it, you're like, this kind of sucks. And then you get towards the end and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm almost done. And then when you're done, you're like, that was the best thing ever.
So true. Well, I think our very first guest for our very first podcast should be an interview of the world famous drummer, Jess Bowen. Woo!
Oh, okay. Well, we'll interview me. That's fine. You're next, Bowie, just so you know.
Yeah, I know. Well, we thought you guys should get to know us a little better. So
yeah, we should do that whole thing.
Yeah. Now, Jess, you are a drummer, as I said, and I'm just wondering, how on earth do you get into drums? Are you from a drumming family, or like when did you first play drums?
Yeah, so I am actually from a drumming family. So my dad and my older brother were both drummers, and like growing up, we always had a drum kit around the house. And obviously, like, my dad wanted both my brother and I to play, but for the longest time, I was like that rebellious, like, girl that was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm going to do my own thing. So, like, I asked my dad to buy me a guitar. And I think that was in middle school. And he told me that if I played drums in the school band for like a year, that he'd buy me a guitar. And he basically conned me into it then, because I never got a guitar. Yeah. But, like, here's the good thing is that like I fell in love with it once I started playing, because I just hadn't really like given myself the chance to. I think I was just being like a stubborn like kid, being like, well, I don't want to do it if my dad and my older brother do it. I want to do something different. I want to be unique, So I didn't really think that playing the drums would be cool since my dad and older brother did it, even though it's like not a lot of females play, and it's very cool,
It's so actually, cool.
It's actually very unique, and so I fell in love with it. That's actually when my first band got together. So I was in a band. I started a band called the Somerset with two of my friends, Steven and John, and their brothers. And we had met. Me and Steven were in the same grade in middle school. John was 2 years younger than us, and we had all played like on the same soccer clubs. And and Steven approached me one day in middle school, and he was like, "Hey, I think we want to be like a Blink-182 cover band. Would you want to be our drummer?" Because there weren't that many drummers in my school at the time. I think it was me and maybe like 2 or 3 others. But I was still like super flattered. I was like, fuck yeah, I want to be the drummer of this.
But hang on, so they knew you played drums, I guess.
Yeah, so we had played soccer together, but they also knew that I was playing drums like in the school band and stuff. Oh. So that's how they were like, that's why they approached me, because they were like, do you want to like be the drummer of our band? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we had first started off as like a Blink-182 cover band. And then we kind of like, our first gigs were at like the school dance. Like we literally asked to play our school dance, which is absurd, I feel like, because a school dance, it should be like music you can dance to, but we were playing like Blink-182 covers and like MXP, like people were like more moshing. Like it's not like dancing. It's like, okay, I guess we're going to crowd surf and mosh.
For the school dance.
So we played a school dance as our first concert. We just progressed from there. Like we had a couple member changes, and we kind of stayed together throughout high school. But then when we formed the Somerset was when our senior year, we found a new singer. His name was Brian. And that's when we officially formed the Somerset and started recording under the Somerset. And that's how we got signed and all that stuff.
Wow. I mean, and so like you wrote songs together, or how did that happen? That you actually had original music?
Yeah. Okay. So like I said, we started off as a cover band, but then like after maybe like a year, I would say, I don't even know if it was a year, it could have been less than that. We were like, well, no, we're going to like write our own music. Like we all were, you know, John was in, like he played violin and he was our guitarist, and like Steven played guitar and bass. Like everyone was super musical. So it's like easy. Like we just got together and wrote our own songs. I'm not saying they were great. I mean, we were like in 8th grade and we were trying,
God,
but
that's
like
so cute. 8th grade. Oh.
And so we released a few songs. Like we had an EP under the band name Last Call for Camden, and that was when we were all like 15, 16 years old when we released that, I think.
Cool.
And so then, yeah, like I said, that was with a different singer, and we just had parted ways, and that's when we found our singer that became, you know, the singer of our band, the Somerset, Brian, and we found him our senior year. And yeah, we were already writing original music from like right out of middle school. So like in high school, we were doing our own thing.
I mean, it's pretty funny when you first start writing music. Like, how do you even know how to write a song? You're just sitting down and you're going, well, let's make it like that song. Is that what you were doing? Or let's write down these lyrics. Or
yeah. Oh my God. It was like collectively trying to write lyrics. And it was, I mean, obviously we're, like I said, teenagers. We haven't had enough life experience to write anything like meaningful. And it was like, man, I've got to think of like some of the funny lyrics that we had, because it was just like, I mean, one of our songs was just called like "She's Got the Rhythm," and it was just like,
that's cool.
She's got the rhythm, and I can't forget. Like, come on, it's just like very cheesy, kind of simple things, because you know you're a teenager, and like what are you going to write about? So,
but that's kind of the appeal for a label, because you know they often want the teenage angle. So anyone who can write with the teenage angle, i.e., a teenager, they're like, yeah,
right, yeah, they're like other teens can relate to this. But yeah, I mean, clearly, I guess that did work out, because we did get signed, out of high school. So
how? Like people must be wondering, how the hell did you get signed out of high school?
This was during the time of MySpace, if anyone can remember MySpace. So we treated it like a job, like MySpace. Like I remember sitting in college, because I did end up, me and Steven had done like a semester of college, because we had, we went to one semester, but we were already playing in the Somerset, and we'd been touring on the weekends and stuff. And then we'd come back to school on Mondays, you know what I mean? And be in these college courses. But I remember sitting in some of my classes and not paying attention at all, and being on my computer and just adding people on MySpace and like messaging people, because we treated it, like I said, like a job. It was like we wanted to, like, from almost like 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. just add as many people as we could, message. I think we like set a goal for each person, like you have to add and message at least like 200 people a day or something like that. And
what were you messaging? Like, hey, this is our band.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, like we're called blah blah blah, like check out our music, give us I forget what it was back then, I don't know, give us an add us or something, add us as your friend. I forget what the MySpace, how the platform worked, but it essentially, you know, had your music on there, and you'd add people and you could message them. So we would just go through people's friends and just add every single person that we could. And that's, again, how we got signed, because it just so happened that one of the people we added was the owner of this record label, the Militia Group, and they were based in Long Beach, and he messaged us back being like, hey, like, my name is, you know, blah, blah, blah. I own this label, and I'd like to like meet with you guys. I like what I'm seeing. I like the style. I like your music.
Oh, wow.
And so then,
you must have died. Did you all die?
Oh, absolutely. Can you imagine? I mean, me and Steven we dropped out of college because we ended up signing to that label. We're like, yeah, fuck college. We just got signed to a record label. Like, not know. We thought it was like the biggest deal.
So hang on, you got a message back, and he's like, come see me, or like, how did that happen?
Yeah, no, he messaged us, and we set up a meeting with him, and the second we got out there, we had talked to some other labels, but none of them seemed like as good of, I mean, we had a manager at the time, and he had looked over whatever contracts, and you know, we were young, and we didn't know, we just got really excited. And I'm not saying that I regret signing. Believe me, like we wouldn't, obviously everything that happened led us to the success we did have. But when I look back on it now, knowing what I know, it's like, oh, you know, we were young and we jumped on kind of one of the first opportunities we got, but like we didn't know any better. We were 18 years old, ready to be signed and touring all the time, which ended up happening. So, you know, everything happens for a reason. I can look back on it and be like, oh, I would have done things differently, but who knows what that would have done.
Well, and it's a fine balance between knowing your rights and knowing not to sign a tight contract or whatever. And also, you still need the exposure of a large label. Like, the reality is an independent artist is going to struggle. They just don't have the funds for advertising. And so, like, in a way, I think you did the right. Like, I totally think you did the right thing. I don't even know what your contract was, but.
Right. I also think what I remember us, you know, it was so long ago now. Like I said, we were like 17, 18 years old. But looking back on it, you know, I think our mindset was we would like to be on an indie label that is going to put all of their like focus and their time and their energy and their resources into us, rather than being on a major label that could just shelve us and be like, nah, you know, we'll sign you. We'll make this look nice and pretty, but then you're going to get none of our time. We're not going to try to do anything for you. It's just like a transactional thing for them. And, you know.
So were they a small label or a big label? Like
they were smaller. They were on the smaller end, but they had a lot of amazing artists. Like the other reason we signed to them was like, there were so many artists on that label that we all loved. It was like,
oh, that's good.
Yeah. So that's also how we ended up getting on tours. Like one of our first tours was with this band that was on our same label. Actually, our first couple tours were with bands that were on our label, and they were bands that I like looked up to and loved, and like still do. I still think their music is amazing. And
that's what people don't realize. Like if someone's opening for someone, or they're, you know, chances are they're on the same label. It's a deal,
or like
that's
same management, or like booking agent. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. That's for sure. But
that is amazing though, because if you with bands that you love,
like I remember the first tour we did was with this band that I was like totally just like starstruck. I felt like over the singer, because he was in a band previously that I had like loved, and had seen multiple times live and all this stuff. And I just had to like try and play it cool. And I think halfway through the tour, I still spilled my guts, and I was like, I don't care. You just need to know, like, I fucking love your band, and like have known you since I was like 13 years old, and this is so cool. And it's like flattering anyways. Like he was super flattered by it.
So that's awesome. So at this point, you're then signed, which is like epic. Everyone must have been so excited. And then do they pop you on tour, or what happens?
Yeah. Like I said, we basically right after we got signed, that's why we dropped out of school, was we were put on the road almost immediately. It was like, all right, now you're going to start touring. And it was like this cycle of like tour, and then you tour for a certain amount of months, make a record. After that record's done, you're back on tour for another certain amount of months, make another record, go back on tour. So that was my life. Like I said, from like 2007 till 2017, I was consistently that consumed my life. I was either making a record or I was on tour.
That's a really long time, actually. So you're with the same label the whole time?
No. We ended up switching labels. You know what I mean? Like little things would happen business-wise, like here and there, and you'd get acquired by another label, or you'd get out of a deal and then sign with another label. And we were kind of able to stay around for a good amount of time and did a lot of international touring. Like we had fan bases. Like we toured in Japan, we toured in the Philippines, Australia, South America.
Hang on, you're half Philippine, right?
I am half Filipino, yes.
Yeah, so what was it like playing in the Philippines? Had you been there before, or
oh my god,
you got family there?
Yeah, no, that was a totally surreal experience, because we somehow were massive in the Philippines. Like our biggest shows were in the Philippines. Whoa. And I don't know if maybe it had something to do with like me being half Filipino, but it was also very, like, it was such a good feeling for me, because in that culture, like my mom, she didn't really tell like her family that I had dropped out of school, because it's kind of looked, frowned upon. It's like, oh, you're supposed to kind of do the whole, you go to college, you graduate, you get a normal job, you live, and so me having dropped out of college wasn't necessarily like, it wasn't something she wanted to share with them. And then she kind of started hearing from like her sister and like her nieces and stuff, like, yeah, like people are talking about Jess's band, like they know the Somerset. And then we came to the Philippines and it was like, I'm not even kidding you, it felt like we were like the Beatles. Like that's how crazy, like people were waiting at the airport with signs and screaming and like we would have to get escorted. Like I had my own like personal security guard, like shit like that, where it was like you'd get, I had to have someone with me at all times. Like we'd be at the bar and I'd be like my security guard would like follow me to the bathroom and I'd be like, okay, like now you cannot like.
This is crazy. I didn't realize people were waiting at the airport. That must have been incredible. When you got off the plane and saw people for the first time, were you like, oh shit?
Yes. We always like, we had a little inkling of like our popularity there because we would, you know, on social media, we always got like fans from the Philippines. It was always like, come to the Philippines, come to the Philippines. We love you. We love you guys. Please come here. So when we finally did go there, I think it was like, it just put it all like into perspective. It was like, we knew that we were popular, but we didn't know how popular. And it was just insane the response we got when we got there. And so for me particularly, it was a cool experience because yes, I am half Filipino and my mom is from there, and it was really cool for her to like, she actually came out for that tour that we did there and she went to visit her family, and so she saw all of this and it was like a really cool, you know, experience because like, you know, it made me feel like, okay, like it doesn't matter that I dropped out of college. Like this is a cool experience, right? Like you guys all can see that it's not just like, oh, I'm just playing in a like garage band. Like this is what I'm doing with my life, you know?
Yeah. Did you your grandparents come or to the concerts?
My grandparents came, all my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my like second, third, fourth cousins, like people at our meet and greets. I remember people, cause again, this is like the culture and I love it. This is how like it is in the Philippines. Like you'd have people that are like, hey, do you remember me? I'm like your fourth cousin's ex-wife's husband's ex-garden or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just like
so cool.
Somehow people know who you are and they're like related to you somehow. But yeah, it was a really, really cool experience. And
my gosh, we need to do a live show in the Philippines.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Philippines by far was like, when I can think about like my favorite memories, it's being like the shows in the Philippines and just the experience in general, because I can't even really put it into words. Like people wouldn't believe me that it really is like a scene out of a movie, the way we were treated. It's like, you've got the people waiting at the airport. You've got the fans like screaming and like grabbing you, and like you having security, like have to hold people back, and you like walking down to eat breakfast in the hotel. And there's people like banging on the windows, like watching you eat, being like, hi. They have signs that say like, hi, Jess. And like, you know what I mean? Like
that is so cool. I mean, what an experience, especially in your like your parents' hometown kind of. Or home country. I mean, that is really cool. Yeah. All right. We're going to the Philippines, guys.
Yeah, we're going to go to the Philippines. We have to. I'm telling you.
I've got an idea. Okay, guys, tweet us if you wanted to come to the Philippines. We're just looking for an excuse for a holiday in the beautiful Philippines when the quarantine is over.
Exactly. That's where we should go first.
So now Somerset, they are on a hiatus, but like, do you guys still speak, or is there any chance you'll get back together, or what's the lay of the land with that?
Yeah, no, we're on a hiatus. Everyone, you know, like I said, we had been together. I mean, a majority of us at least had been together since like middle school. And you kind of like some things just kind of run its course, and we're not on bad terms. Like people, I think just you want to experience new things and go do new things. Like imagine being a teenager and having spent a majority of your life, more of your life with these 4 people in your band than your own family and your friends.
Yeah, crazy.
So I think it just came time to kind of try to move forward and do other things. And again, it wasn't necessarily a hard breakup, like we'll never get back together. And I'm not saying that we are or we aren't. It's just like it wasn't like, I don't want to say that it's like bad blood and it was like, no, fuck that, I'm never going to do that again.
No, it was just obviously cool, but time for a break.
Yeah. And like, to be honest with you, of course, at the time, like I was bitter. Like we had built something so great together, and I was so proud of it, and I didn't want to see it end, but like, I don't know, there's just things in life that you have to go through. Like there's things that just need to end and you have to move forward from to grow. as individuals. And so I really do feel like we all made the right decision, because I think all of us are doing, we're all happy and healthy as individuals now. And after doing everything together for 10 years, you kind of want to have that like space, instead of every decision being with these 4 other people.
10 years is a really long time, like especially when it was over such transformative years for you guys.
Oh, absolutely. Like the most transformative years, I would say.
Yeah, the most, for sure. But nowadays, so since Somerset, you're now playing with heaps of bands, right? Like you are the go-to girl, obviously. Like everyone wants you as a drummer.
Well,
I mean, I know you are. I'm just saying I can see that.
I'm so glad I paid Bowie to say that. Just so like people be like, oh my God. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll send you a Venmo. What's it called? The Venmo.
Yeah. I'll Venmo.
I'll be like, you owe me $100.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll Venmo you. Don't worry. Thanks for that little shout out.
So as I said, she's the best, as you were.
And moving on. No, but I mean, okay. So to be honest with you, I really did. I'll try to keep this short, but like I thought that I was going to be done with music after we went on hiatus. Because again, I kind of was like, okay, I was in this band. We did this for 10 years. I've been touring since I was like 17. I was 27 at the time when we had gone on hiatus. I was like, I'm good. Like I need to go like figure out what else there is in life that makes me happy. And turns out I don't really know what else makes me happy besides drumming. So drumming and CrossFit.
Hang on, let me have a think about things. Yeah, I love drumming. Oh no.
Damn. This is like way better than doing other things. This is like my passion. And so it turned out, there was a couple maybe slow months right when we announced the hiatus where I was like, yeah, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to because people knew me as the drummer of the Somerset, but I didn't think I was going to get approached. But then slowly but surely I started getting emails, and certain people, like acquaintances in the industry, would be like, hey, like, there's this band that's looking for a drummer. Like, would you happen to be available to do this tour? And so I started just shifting into being, like a touring musician. And it's what I love to do. And it kind of keeps me even more like,
sharper.
Yes, because I get to play different styles, and I get to be on tour with different people at different times, and like grow these different like families. Like it's not like just I'm just touring with one person all the time. It's like I can tour with, Tessa for a few months, and then I'll be touring with Alice Glass, who I also drum for, and touring with like 303 and whomever, like all these different people that I've had the like privilege of playing with and growing these friendships with. It makes it more like, I don't want to say more fun. It's just, keeps it interesting. It's not like that monotonous, like, oh, it's just the same thing all the time with the same people.
Song, exactly.
Same song, different day.
I imagine at the start you would have been like, hang on, do I actually know how to play with other bands? You would have been questioning yourself. I mean, you're a good drummer, really, really freaking good, but it would be nerve-wracking the first gig, right?
Oh my God, absolutely. I question myself constantly. I mean, but I am also a Virgo, so like that's part of my sign. I am like, astrologically, I will always want to be a perfectionist and question everything.
So Jess, like you've been touring with some amazing bands, as I just spoke to you about, but what would you say, like some of the coolest, weirdest maybe, or countries you never thought you'd go to? Wow, where have you gigged that is awesome?
Oh my
God.
God.
No, where have you gigged that is different, really different and cool?
Really different. Okay, well I guess most recently I would have to say I went to Moscow, and I never thought, I honestly, like that's one of the places that I was like, I never thought I'd get to play. And I was so lucky because Tessa has like a huge fan base in Russia. So that was the last tour. That was the last date of our Europe tour, on the last tour we did. And oh my God, I cannot even put into words like everything about like the architecture and like just the culture. It was just it was so different in such a surprisingly like great way to me that I don't even know how to describe it. Like,
yeah, I heard it's super clean and pretty, and it's just like the really pretty city that we just, I haven't been to Russia. I would love to go.
I thought it was so beautiful. And like I said, again, like the architecture was just something out of this world. Like I've never seen it in any country I've been to before. And it really does. It just makes you feel so out of your element. Because sometimes I'm on tour and I forget that I'm in like a different country. Because sometimes you go places and you're just like, oh, it just this is not. And I don't know if that sounds ignorant. I don't mean for that to sound ignorant, but like I do like
in a different country every day. So like, especially in Europe, and you're a different country every day. You wake up, you're in a new city.
Yes, I like the feeling of being like, this feels different and I'm out of my element. Like I want to be kind of like, thrown off and like, oh, this is it. Because I've been touring for like, 12 years. And like I said, sometimes it kind of becomes like, oh, I've been to these places a million times and I don't take it for granted. I love it, but it's nice to get thrown into something completely new and feel like I have no idea where I am and how to like survive here or how to even talk to anyone, but I fucking love it.
Well, Jess, I just love chatting to you about your tours and everything because I'm a musician. I love hearing all those stories. It's so fun.
Oh, thanks for having me, Bowie.
Yeah, thanks for coming on to our podcast.
I'm so happy to be on our podcast right now. Thank you.
Thanks for being our very first guest, and it was amazing.
Now, for our next guest, it's Bowie Jane, the best DJ in the world. And you know what? I did see you DJ. Before all this happened, before we had to go into quarantine, I went and saw you DJ, and I went by myself and I was having a fucking blast. I don't know if you remember, but I was just dancing and singing and I was just like having the best fucking time. You really are like, you were my exact, if for my wedding, you're going to be at my wedding whenever I get married.
I was DJing at Santa Monica Promenade and it was just going off. So I was so happy Jess came and it was heaps of fun.
Yes, it was so much fun. So, all right. So tell me then, Bowie, you started off, did you start off as a pop singer before you transitioned into the DJ world?
I did. Yeah. So I used to play tennis, right? And when the
professionally, right? You were professionally playing tennis, which is, wow, crazy.
I did, and it's way too expensive to be on the tour. It's kind of like being a musician on the tour, but perhaps less money. So it's very difficult touring, and you can't have a coach with you, and you can't have practice courts when you're out of the tournament. And for anyone who knows, I was on the satellite circuit. So I did that after playing tennis all juniors, I did that for a year, and then I was like, I can't afford this. And I called my mum in Ireland at a tournament. And I was crying in the bushes. Literally, I was in the bushes. And this is maybe, I don't think I had a cell phone, so I don't know how I was crying in the bushes and still on the phone, but I was. And I can visualize it now. I was like, Mum, I don't think I can continue this and I'm a fighter. I'll do things forever. I'm not giving up, that kind of thing. I was like, I think I have to give up. I can't believe it. And Mum was like, good idea. Why don't you go back to university? I was like, okay. And so then
I went to university after being a professional tennis player.
Yeah. And what had happened was when I was playing tennis, because I was always musical. So I sang in the madrigals group, the choir. I was always involved in music. I learned classical piano for 7 years, and my family is pretty musical, not my parents, but beyond that, I've got sort of famous madrigal groups in the family and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But I could never do it with the sport. Like, it was too much. Tennis took up all the time. So then, when I quit, I was like, okay, I guess I'll go to uni. And I had got into law. And I was like, I'm just going to do law. I don't know why. And then just do something else.
So you studied law? Like, were you a criminal lawyer? I can't remember. What did you study?
Yeah, so I studied law. But whilst I was doing law, I was like, this is terrible. I've just been on the touring the world for a year, and I'm meeting up with, I'm staying on campus with people who they just left home, basically. So I felt like a fish out of water. So I thought, I really maybe I can pursue the music now. I didn't tell my parents, but I was like, now I've got my chance because I've got more time. And so I started doing singing lessons, dance lessons. I was doing part-time dance, which is 10 lessons a week, and then started auditioning for musical theatre, got into a few musicals. Basically, I was doing law on the side, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's a long degree. But then, so did Sweet Charity, shit, I can't. Jesus Christ Superstar. Oh, and Anything Goes. Did those 3 musicals and was like, I still want to be performing though, but not in musical theatre. So how do I do like duo stuff or bands? I wanted to be in a band so bad. And so, yeah, so then I think a friend of mine was, so I'm basically doing law at the same time, but a friend of mine was a guitar player, and I said, can we start a duo? And he's like, okay. And I said, well, let's learn like 30 songs so we've got enough for 3 sets, because in Australia you had to do sort of 3 45-minute sets. So he was on guitar, I was on a shaker, which you would appreciate, Jess.
Shaker, yes.
Drummer through and through. Yeah, so I basically learned that we learned our 30 songs and we couldn't go a minute over. And I had my lyrics up there and we sang and it was fine.
Incredible.
And we got repeat gigs. And then, so after that, I was like, I want to do music. That's it.
Wow. So, okay, but tell me, how did you got your law degree? Were you still doing law and also performing at the same time?
Yeah, so in my grand plan of things, it was what I'll do, I'll get a job in law in an entertainment law firm so that then I get record company contacts and all those contacts that everyone needs for a deal. I'll get them being a lawyer was what was happening in my head, right?
Yes.
And then so I'll do my articles in an entertainment law firm, and someone I knew said, oh, it's this particular law firm, and I was bartending at the time, and this guy came into the bar, and I was like, oh my God, this is the guy that I need to work for. He's the biggest entertainment lawyer in Australia. And so he came up to the bar and then sat down for his table. It was like their Christmas dinner or something. And I went up to the table and I said, sorry to interrupt, but I would love to work for your law firm. I'm a musician, blah, 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 and I'm a lawyer. I've just finished law, blah, blah, blah. He said, oh, here's my PA. Give your email address to her and then she'll contact you, or you contact her, something along those lines. So I did that. Like the next day I was like, oh my God, I just met blah, blah, blah. And so, emailed him or her, and she wrote back, said, yeah, can you come in for an interview? And I was like, oh God, I can't believe this. This is from bartending. What the hell? So then went into the interview, was selling myself like there was no tomorrow. Like, I'm going to be focused. I'm very dedicated. I'll work really hard, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, you got the job. And I was
just like that.
Yeah. I was like, what do you mean I got the job? And he goes, yeah, you can start. When do you want to start? And I was like, oh, okay. So then we had to work out a start date. And basically, I think I worked for him for quite a few years. But within the first year of me working for him, he started being investigated for money laundering and tax fraud.
Oh, God.
So I went from potentially doing all the biggest entertainment law files to him dropping all his cases and me just working for him for his white collar crime case. And which was great because I didn't want to do that for a career, but I got some really invaluable learning experiences doing money laundering and tax fraud law. Really, really big cases, like the biggest in Australia, crazy shit. And so that's kind of. So that was my law career, but then I was also, once I left him, I went and became a barrister where you're the one who's wearing that wig, in England where they wear the wig.
I definitely know what you're talking about. And I think I saw a picture of you wearing the wig and I was like, what?
Yeah. So you wear the wig as a lawyer in Australia. When you're in a trial, you wear the wig so the jury won't think, oh, that's a girl or that's a boy or too young or too this, too that. Everyone looks the same. It's meant to be a neutralizing kind of thing. Yeah, wow. So I basically became a barrister, which is the equivalent to a trial attorney here in America. And I was doing these cases. And the great thing about that was you're working for yourself. So what I was doing actually was releasing music, because I kept the music going the whole time, releasing music I'd written with my music producer, Jason Bowen, who's amazing, who is producing this podcast. So we released the music in the UK, it was becoming a bit of a hit over there. So we went over there and did a radio tour and a promo tour. And basically what I did in Australia, I said, hey, I'm not available to do trials because I'm doing a trial. So I won't be available for like 3 months. And I'd go to the UK for 3 months and release my music. And basically living a double life. No one in the law knew I was a musician and vice versa.
That's so crazy to me. Like you literally had 2 separate lives in Australia and in the UK. It was like keeping them separate. I guess my question, did you ever get recognized? Did you have someone in the court being like, hey, you're that pop star? Or did you have someone when you were the pop star being like, hey, weren't you my lawyer that one time? Like anything like that?
That was my biggest concern because really being a lawyer is a conservative profession. You're paying a lot of money for someone and you want them to look serious. Now, you don't want the singer you just saw on stage on the weekend to be representing you. I mean, I don't think so. I probably wouldn't want
I'd be fine with it, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So I was using a different name on stage to my birth name and keeping them separate. So the musicians did not know that I was doing band work all weekend, like duos band, like, 5 to 7 gigs a week, ridiculous. And then being a lawyer as well at the same time. Neither knew about the other profession. Wow. So then when I went to the UK and I was releasing the music and it was starting to chart in the dance charts over there. And then I started getting press, which I was freaking out about because the whole angle was they were saying, hey, this girl is a lawyer as well as a singer, and she's keeping it a secret. And I was like, uh-oh.
People want to, that's interesting. You know what I mean? Like people are going to hold on to it and be like, I want to know about that because you don't hear about that very often.
Yeah.
So they probably were like, we gotta jump on this. Like, how do we find out about this person?
So then I started getting press over in the UK saying I was this lawyer and a singer, and that basically I was changing my clothes after court and running and then getting into my hot pants and getting on stage, which was true.
Wow.
But it was freaking me out because I was like, no one knows about this. But I was thinking, oh, it's probably cool because I'm in the UK and they won't find out about it in Australia. So, and yeah, it was fine. No one knew. I got heaps of publicity in the UK on the front page of every newspaper. It was crazy. And I didn't have a label or a manager or anything at the time. I had a booking agent who was a good booking agent. But yeah, I was doing everything myself.
Oh my God. So you were like basically self-managed and you did everything on your own. Was it you and your producer? Was it you and Jason that did everything?
Exactly. Yeah, we were doing everything ourselves, but the radio tour was booked by I had booked a radio promo person, so they booked your radio tour, and she was fantastic. She did all the top acts, and the same for the DJ, club staff, and the booking agent. So I had like 3 people I was using for that kind of stuff. So that sort of put the tour in place. But the reality is when things blow up in the media, I had no one managing the social media, nothing. So I was like, Jason, retweet people, respond. I can't keep up. This is crazy. And I was so stressful. I was so stressed.
Yeah.
Then I came back to Australia for a little trial. And I really did have a trial, so I was like, okay, quick, I'll just go do this case, and then I'll go back to the UK. And Jason was still in the UK, so that was cool. He was producing basically our next release, and then I got back to Australia, went to court in the country in Australia, and just had this policewoman yell at me across the foyer in court saying, "You're the singing lawyer." And I was like, what? The media had made it there. And so things blew up really bad. I was like, it was like I was Bill Clinton who just had an affair.
Wow.
In Australia, it was big news for some reason. I don't know why, but
so funny. You're the singing lawyer. Oh my God. So it really was, it became like a huge, it was a huge story, right? People really focused on this like double life that you lived. I feel like that was like what,
It was all on the double life. That's right. People were fascinated that I was living a double life, that you would be doing sort of a conservative job and then the musician job at the same time, but no one knows. And all the media was saying, what would your alter ego be? And so I was like, oh, wow. It was like everyone was contacting me. I'd been back for, only a few days and done this. I did one radio show, which was on 3AW in Melbourne for those Melbourne listeners. And that was when things blew up. Like, it was crazy.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, being a musician that's toured for 12 years, I don't know anyone that had a double life like that. You know what I mean? Like that's why I do find it fascinating. So I can see why other people were so fascinated with like, wait, and also like to be a lawyer, like a criminal lawyer, you know, like it's something so, you wouldn't expect someone to have that double life with that type of career.
I really genuinely was keeping it secret because it just wasn't
you purposely
cool.
did.
Like,
you purposely did that, right?
You couldn't have clients, as you said, like, were they ever seeing you on stage? And like one time I was junior in a trial, and for sure this barrister wouldn't know, but I was junior to him in a trial, and I was like, oh, I have to go to another meeting now, and I'm so sorry. We've been there for 3 hours or something. And he's like, no problem. I've got another case I'm working on. I run down the street because we're in the CBD in Melbourne. I run down the street to the Australian Open Tennis Championships where I'm on the main stage and run back there, change, and I'm getting ready to get on stage. And I'm like, I remember being on stage looking out going, I'm pretty sure this barrister won't be in the audience, but shit, I hope he's not because I might get in trouble. Like, what the hell am I going to say?
Australian Open. You were playing the Australian Open.
Yeah, and they have this awesome, massive area out the back where the live music's played. It's a really fun area.
No one, I guess, okay, so the reason no one necessarily, I guess, recognized you besides a few, is it because you're wearing the wigs and all that stuff when you're...
Yeah, and just, I don't think people click, like, they think,
they don't think that you're that one that they saw in the courtroom.
No, they don't. And of course, now I've got a buzz cut, which I could never have had basically as soon as I moved to LA, cut my hair. But so I had the long hair out and I was wearing different clothes as a lawyer, really dressed quite conservatively. So
okay, so you transitioned then from being a pop singer into the DJ world, correct?
Yeah.
So when did this transition happen, and why did you necessarily feel like you wanted to transition? Was it a natural transition? Was it something you really thought about? Was it something that just kind of fell into your lap? Like, what happened with that?
Yeah, so the songs I was releasing in the UK were doing really well in the dance charts. And in fact, they charted in the dance charts consistently. And we had Seventh Heaven do a remix, and that was awesome. And Superstars.
Sorry to interrupt you, but what did you get to in the dance? Like, what in the UK? Like, you topped like very high in the charts, right? Like, what did you guys get to?
Well, so recently, I had got to like 11. I think I hadn't quite broken the top 10 in the UK.
God, but 11.
But then recently a song of ours was put on SWAT, the TV show on CBS, and I was in the scene and everything, so it was really, really cool. And
you were in the TV show doing it?
Yeah, it was amazing. I have to thank Billy, the director, for his amazing support with this track. It was just so cool. So the song got on SWAT and it was featured, and then I was like, shit, we better release it. It was busted. So I quickly released the track, and it did really well in America and the UK. And I still get comments like on my YouTube video for it. It's like, hey, we saw this from SWAT, which is cool.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I got to 7 in the UK charts and 21 in the Billboard charts in America. So I was really happy with that.
Wow.
But basically before that, I was releasing in the dance charts, and I thought, I really need to be DJing as well. And I had been DJing, but I hadn't sort of taken that next step with it. So I started doing gigs with doing my live vocals over my own backing tracks, and and then mixing it in with other people's tracks. And now I just pretty much straight DJ, no vocals.
Yeah.
I love DJing. I love it. I love revving the crowd up.
Oh my God, you kill it. Like I said, when I saw you in Santa Monica, also like when I say you kill it, like when you're done, you're sweatier after you're done DJing than when I see you at CrossFit. Like you're like legit that into it. And that's what's amazing about you is like you're so like committed to your craft, and you just like I went by myself. And I was just like fucking jumping up and down and like loving everything you were doing. And it seems like you're like that natural. Like you're so natural at it that I would have thought that you've been doing that like your whole life. So it's crazy that to me that like you had like switched over into it. Like it just seems like that was like naturally what you were born to do.
Yeah, so I think that's right. it felt very natural for me because I've sung in bands and duos, and I'm used to like playing in a venue with one person or playing with a million people. I'm used to like turning the crowd around. And I think as a singer, you really have to do that. So, and I've always been a little bit of a raver. I mean,
yes.
I've had that in my time. So I love house music so much. So I've always listened to it and then worked with it, and then I was like, that's it, I'm DJing now. And I love it. I love gigging so much. It's amazing.
Well, thank you, Bowie Jane, for being our second guest of our very first podcast of Babes Behind the Beats.
Yay! I had a ball. Thank you for having me. What a great host you are.
You are amazing as well. We love you.
Thinking what we do every episode is end with a little quiz, because it kind of tells a lot about the person. And yeah.
We want to ask the really tough questions, right? Like they're going to be super tough.
So tough. You have to be super smart to answer them. So good luck.
Good luck.
I'm going to ask you first, Jess.
Perfect. Okay, good luck to me. Let's see.
Dogs or cats?
Wow. If you knew me at all. Okay, listen. I love all animals, but come on, dogs.
Yeah. And so my answer is dogs too.
Yes. See, I was going to say that for you. I think I knew that. All right. So the next burning question, it's so hard. Whiskey or vodka?
100% whiskey for me. What about you?
God, I'm going to go with 75% vodka right now. And then the rest is whiskey.
75% vodka. Oh, I get it.
Because I can't pick one right now because both of them have not treated me well recently.
Yeah, rude.
But I've more so been on the vodka train as of the last few years. Yeah. So that's why 75% of me is going to say vodka. I'm not answering it. I should actually have to pick one. These questions should be you have to pick one. So I'll just say vodka. God damn it. Well, I don't know why I'm making this difficult.
I think you are meant to pick one. You just introduced the percentage.
I have no idea why I did that. Okay, vodka. Anyways, next question.
All right, you're a vodka girl. All right, for you, beach or snow?
Snow, because I'm thinking about the cabins and Big Bear and Mammoth and Tahoe. I just love the cabin life. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah. What about you? So are you what's yours?
I love sunshine, but that's why I love Mammoth. Mammoth is pretty much summer, even in winter. So it's amazing. You get the snow thing, you get the cabin, you get the happy hour on the snow, and it's always sunny. It's an incredible mountain. So, hey, can we get Mammoth as a sponsor?
It's always sunny at Mammoth Mountain.
Yes, I'm a snow girl.
Yeah.
I love the beach, but I'm a snow girl.
We agree. Again, this is why you and I are we're on the same page about those things. This is one that I feel like there's pros and cons to both, but headlining or opening?
Of course, your first instinct is to go headline, but as a DJ, there are if you're an opener, you're on first, which means you may have no crowd, but then you're done and you can party and it's fun. If you're the headliner, you're on last. So you might be on at 4 a.m. And yeah, it's I get nervous before every single gig. It doesn't matter what it is. I get a little nervous belly. And that's not that fun. So, okay, hang on. I got to pick one.
Yeah, you got to pick one. Like I said, I can't.
Okay, I'm going to go with headliner just because I don't want to jinx myself.
Yeah,
What about you?
This is not the game. This is not the quiz. It shouldn't be let me give you the pros and cons, because it is nice being an opener because you get it out of the way and then you could be done. And
sometimes you have crap sound as an opener.
Yeah. No, headlining for sure. Headlining wins.
Oh, this is a good question. CrossFit or yoga?
Oh, jeez. Well, what could anyone guess? CrossFit, right?
100% for me, CrossFit.
We've tried yoga. We've tried it together. Here's the thing. I don't want to bash on it. I think...
No. I want to love yoga, but I'm not good at it.
Yeah, you and I want to be good at things. We're good at CrossFit. Yeah. Yoga, we've tried together. And I feel fine when I'm done with it. I just don't feel like I was good. And I want to feel like I did something well. I'm always I was shit at that class. I'm that person that they correct in the class.
Yeah, I would love to be good at yoga.
Yeah.
But and I think like I get a sore back from my tennis days, so my mid thoracic is always tight. And I know for sure yoga would help.
Yeah.
But I really like the feeling of lifting weights and the endorphins you get from it.
Yeah.
Are we addicts, Jess?
We're definitely CrossFit addicts, but I didn't want to bring, we're probably not.
Yeah. Well, this has been unreal. I've just loved doing this podcast.
Yes.
I think let's do it again. Why not? Let's do it every week.
Let's do it every week. And so for everyone listening, if you want to follow us on Instagram and Twitter and all those fun social media things, it's at Babes Behind the Beats. And our website is babesbehindthebeats.com. And you could follow each of us individually. Mine is at Jess Bowen. And Bowie, do you want to say what your social media is?
Yeah, mine's at Bowie Jane Music. And our joint Twitter account is like, I couldn't get Babes Behind the Beats in the Twitter. It was too many syllables or something or other, or too many letters. So it's Babe Behind Beat.
Babe Behind Beat. Just one of us. So, Babe Behind Beat.
I can't remember. It was like, it's shortened. But the Instagram is Babes Behind the Beats, and babesbehindthebeats.com is the website. So you can find all our handles on there.
Perfect. Yeah. Follow us on there. You can ask us questions for the next podcast, and just follow that so that you can get all the updated news on when we're releasing the podcast. And thank you guys for listening. And Bowie, I love you. This was so much fun. Our first podcast ever. I would say it was a success.
Best friends having a chat over a beverage about CrossFit and music. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? We'll see everyone next week. Thank you for listening.
Okay, bye.
Bye.